Welcome to Munciana Courtside, show number 8. I'm Mike Lingenfelter, sporting my Team Z retro wear, along with the Ninja Guru, Randy Gardner.
Today's show will be Love It or Shove It. The past week, we want to hit on Monday. Carmel played Yorktown. We were both in attendance. Carmel did win in 3.
We were both in attendance. One of us was right, one of us was wrong. The Yorktown folks are now calling it kind of a Madden jinx, a Sports Illustrated jinx. So this week we will not pick a Yorktown game.
Yep. That's exactly how it is.
Too much Carmel, too much Carly Scott.
Yep. On Tuesday, Brownsburg, Roncalli. We'll get to Brownsburg in a little bit, but in that game, Roncalli won on 4 early in the week.
We both called that. Brownsburg put up a little more of a fight than what we thought going in, but Roncalli's awfully good. But as we'll talk about a little later in the show, Brownsburg's pretty significant too.
Yep. City invite. Always a big time. Usual final. Cathedral beat Chittard in the finals. And from what it sounds like, it was early battle, and then Cathedral was just too much at the end.
Well, Chittard's a little young in some really critical spots. Nick does a good job as anybody coaching his team, but if you don't have the horses to get home with those guys, I mean, Cathedral is just too physical for Chittard this year.
Yep.
Now, as years go on, that could change a little because, as I said, a great coaching job for Nick.
Yep. This week's Player of the Week, Gabby Staggs out of Concord. She's a senior. She's hit .510, has 266 kills, 69 blocks, and 76 sets this year.
510 is an enormous number. We've talked about it over and over throughout the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm sure that Gabby Staggs developed this skill set when Randy ran their team camp this summer. I'm not saying that's any reason for Gabby to get in there, but I'll be honest, if Randy taught Gabby how to hit like that, then he deserves a raise. 510 is Gabby. Those are incredible numbers. Keep it up, and good luck in sectionals, and good luck to Concord in sectionals as well.
GearMunciana.com. Love it or shove it. We're already going to get to it. Love it or shove it. I was at the Cathedral invite a couple weeks ago, watching the showdown of all the big-time teams. Heard a couple fans talking. They're saying Cathedral is overrated.
Oh, good God. Cathedral being overrated. You can shove that right now. That's a ridiculous statement. All year long, people have asked that. I've heard big name volleyball guys in the area, both club and high school alike, making statements on whether they're overrated or they all that. I'm telling you, they are. They are all that. They're that good. People don't understand what it takes to go undefeated, or what it takes to have a great season, even to win a state championship. I've always told people, to win a state championship, there's a lot of luck involved. You got to be in the right place at the right time. You can't have injuries. You've got to have this work for you. So, as good as Cathedral is, they can't measure their season based on their wins and losses currently, or whether they win a title. Overrated is the stupidest statement I've ever heard. I think that, I've been fortunate enough to watch them and be around a couple of their kids. Maria Shore, setter, top notch. She's the only kid in that lineup right now that doesn't have a full ride. And I think she's as good as any setter around. She's solid. She's very, very good. And the rest of those guys, I mean, come on, people. They're all D1 kids, and they're only getting better. They're only getting better. Shove it.
And that's what I was hitting on too. I kind of laughed when I heard it, because I watched Cathedral really play 2 of the best sets to start that Westville game off, and really just looked fine-tuned. They're really starting to hit the groove. So I just kind of laughed, but I just had to throw it out there.
I love what these people talk about in the stands.
It's kind of the Miami Heat. They struggle, lose a couple games early in the season. They want to fire their head coach, and then it's the same thing. Cathedral getting the fans are upset about it, but who cares? Next part, love it or shove it. Single class system for the state tournament.
Welcome to Milan. I love it. I love it. Several years ago, I was at Wapahani, and we won the state championship. And that year, we were a 1A team. We'd beaten the 2A team, the 2A state champion that season. We'd beaten the 3A state champion that season. and we didn't have a chance to play the 4A state champion, and that was Burris and Delta were the 2A and 3A, and you know, even though we'd won the 1A, I always wondered, and I grew up in the state of Kentucky, and the state of Kentucky still has a single class basketball tournament, and it's a big deal. I think Kentucky and Alaska may be the last of the Mohicans in regards to having single class systems. But you look at it this year, how much fun would it be? You know, all year long we've talked about Providence. I mean, we've talked about the Christian Academy. We've talked about some of the West Dells and some of these little teams that, I don't know, you know, the other night Alexandria goes 5 with Delta in this area. And I love it. I love it. I do love it. I think that it would be an awful lot of fun. And you know, I just think that I would like to be the champion. Not one of 4. I would like to be the champion. I would love to see a single class state tournament in volleyball in this state, especially. I think it would be a blast.
It would be, no doubt. We're going to hit on the court side top 10. I know you want to hit on a couple guys every week. We talk about honorable mention. Go ahead and hit on.
Yorktown. I talked to last week. Yorktown had to really gain significant momentum going into the tournament. They got handled by Carmel. You know, they didn't play well, and Carmel's physical, and that's not a good matchup for Yorktown. But then they came back. You know, they played a solid match with Newcastle on 1-4 in a tight match, and then they had an incredibly tight match on Saturday night with Delta. You know, and they have gained a little traction. They're 24-5. They're the type of team that will give you troubles in the state tournament because of the fact that they dominate the back 20 feet of the court. You know, they're going to play defense, they're going to pass it, they're going to serve it, they're not going to give you easy points. You got to keep them in there. They're just steady, and so I had them as an honorable mention, and I love Concordia, Fort Wayne Concordia with Tiana and Trish Miller at the helms, cracking a whip on those cats. Come late in the season, they will
turn it on.
Oh, they will. They will turn it on, and so those are my 2 honorable mentions coming in this week.
We'll go ahead on number 10. We got a tie this week.
Brownsburg and Perry Meridian both at 10. Perry Meridian had a little bit of a setback, dropped them down in the polls. Brownsburg, they're a good team.
Yeah.
You know, I just all I've said
on
we've had people
and Providence this past weekend. Providence and Straits.
We've had people tell us that they weren't good, and all year long, all I've said was these guys are good. They beat Providence. You know, Providence, all Providence was number 1 in our poll, 24 in the country, and Brownsburg beat them. So take that. They are good, and so those of you that thought I was a complete idiot, you can't say that without knowing me, but they're good. They're good, and they're number 10, well, along with Perry Meridian.
Yep. Number 9.
Well, the jinx, though, Yorktown guys talking about Yorktown guys blowing us up about being a jinx. We babbled about Mishawaka Marion winning 20 straight matches, dominating, and they lost to Roncalli. So
great game, 16-14 in the third set.
Anderson's, I'm sorry, we probably jinxed you a little, but you know what? There's no shame in losing to Roncalli, especially in the championships of the tournament. Mishawaka Marion, 30-3, my number 9.
Number 8.
Fort Wayne Carroll.
New team.
Yeah, and all year long, we've talked about these guys.
They've been right on that border.
Yeah, well, honorable mention 2 or 3 times. They've beaten some significant people early in the season. They're really starting to hit their stride. You know, they went over
bangers.
Win over Mishawaka Marion is a great win. And you know, I look at them and I'm going, you know, this team, the Quaid kid is the real deal going to Illinois. I mean,
got to be all right.
Yeah, you got to be pretty good to play in the Big Ten for Kevin Hambley, and you know they've got 2 or 3 kids that are physical enough to play, and so they're number 8, and they're going to be significant as this thing goes down the stretch.
Number 7,
Floyd Central. You know, the Fighting Bart Pals continue to do their thing, and you know this is a neat time for them because they kind of huddle up in the South and hide for a little bit, and you don't know exactly what's going on with their team. If Bart can rectify and fix some of those ball handling issues, baby, watch out.
Yeah, you know, and they've been banged up all year long. Hopefully they're getting healthy and they can hit their stride too and keep moving forward. Number 6.
Center Grove. Center Grove.
66 in the country.
Yeah, those cats, and we're going to talk about it in a bit, those guys have a big, big week ahead of them. They could change this whole thing. Center Grove could, going into sectionals, they could hit sectionals on the highest of highs.
Mm-hmm.
They could hit sectionals in a week on cloud 9. Mm-hmm. And so...
Could be riding high more than any team in the country.
Yeah,
Not just
No, and I think that we'll talk a little about that coming up. But Center Grove, no huge wins this week, but no losses either. So they're staying right there at 6 in ours and 66 in the country. But we talk about them every week, how much I enjoy them, and I think it'll be interesting to see what happens this week.
Yep. Number 5.
Number 70 in the country, as you put it, Carmel. Once again, no big wins. But once again, no big losses. A steady week. The Yorktown win was a good win, but they're in their stride. I watched a couple things. They got some things to fix defensively. Rich, you got to take care of the corners of the court. I mean, those guys, Yorktown was slinging hash all over the place. We got to make sure that those guys get over there and patrol those corners. But I thought the setter was really solid. I thought that Carly was bombing away. They have 3 or 4 offensive kids on that team. If they defend the way that Rich wants them to defend, they're 5 right now, but they can move away.
Number 4. Still not nationally ranked. I don't get it.
Well, this team is accustomed to getting no love.
Yep.
For the last couple of years, I've done the TV for several years, but for the last couple of years, Avon's rolled in. Everybody thought Avon was just going to get thumped, and all they've done is put on a show. Avon gets no respect. I looked at this list, and our top 6, 5 of them are in the top 70 in the nation, and for Avon not to be listed there is criminal. I don't know, maybe I need to get a hold of Tahoe and talk to him a little about it, but Scott McQueen is good, if not, arguably the best coach in the area.
As of late, too. I mean, back-to-back state champions.
Always peaking at the right time, and like I said, we've talked to we're blue in the face about Prince and Wendell, but they're number 4. They're very good.
Number 3, a little slip.
Yeah, Providence proved they're human. It happens. They lost to a good Brownsburg team, 26-3 on the season. They hadn't lost in a long time.
24th in the country.
Number 24 team in the nation, and they slipped to number 3 only because the other 2 guys just kept winning. But Providence they're ready, man. Those guys, love it or shove it. Those guys, hands down. I mean, if there's anybody that's got pressure on them going into the tournament, it's going to be them, because there's no one that's expected to even challenge them in 2A. And I think that, Terry Parika's got a handful there trying to keep her kids focused. They're a great team.
Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing I remember back when you were at WAP and everything, and after you took down the Muncie Burris in the opening night, it was kind of hard to keep those guys at the wheels spinning and everything else to get all the way there.
No, it is hard, and like I said, to win a state championship, you got to have a lot of luck. Everything's got to fall in the right place. But as a coach, you can't underestimate getting your kids in the right frame of mind. So I'm never a fan, Terry, of losing and getting us in the right frame of mind. I hate losing and learning. I just like winning and learning. But if there's anybody out there that's going to find a way to make that a positive, it's probably Terry Parika.
Number 2, 31 in the country.
31 in the country, and dang well not overrated. The Cathedral Irish, 22-4. That still baffles me that people would ask if they are that good. Geez, buy a ticket.
Go watch.
Just buy a ticket. If you like watching just tremendous athletes and tremendously coached athletes, that coaching staff is great. Go watch this team. They got everything. And Katie barred the door if they put it all together. And Jean, if there's anybody that's going to put it all together, Jean Kesterson will be the one that pulls that thing together. If she can pull it all together in the next couple of weeks, my lands. I mean, they'll be as good as anybody that's ever played the state championship in this state.
Oh, yeah.
They're that good.
Yep. And number 1, back on top, 25th in the country.
Roncalli, I keep talking. Roncalli and Cathedral are two teams that, of destiny. All year long we've talked about those two teams and what they have to do. If I said early on that if Cathedral can take care of the back 20 feet of the court, 2/3 of the court, 2/3 of the points, if they can take care of the back 20, they'll be almost unbeatable. And the reason I say almost is Roncalli. Roncalli has the physical guys, enough physical guys in the front row, enough quality back row play to cause trouble, and they serve it. I mean, they serve it, they defend it, well coached, and hungry. 25th in the nation, #1 this week in Courtside.
We're going to go ahead and finish with games of the week. Some really good ones this week. It was kind of hard to narrow them down, but we went 3. On Tuesday night, Roncalli, 24-2, will take on Center Grove at Center Grove, which is 25-2.
And this, like I alluded to, this is going to be a crazy week for Center Grove. You talk about tough scheduling, and I tell you, these guys, they're prime time this week. If you got nothing to do on Tuesday night or a Friday night, you may want to venture down to Center Grove, because that's going to be a spectacular week of volleyball. I think the Friday night game is a rescheduled game from early in the season. So, there's no way a scheduler would make this schedule. But Roncalli and Center Grove, at Center Grove, I go Roncalli just because their ball control is a little better right now.
I was really thinking you're going Center Grove.
I love them.
I was going with Roncalli. I watched them early in the year. There was the same early battle at Yorktown. Roncalli just serves the tar out of the ball, finds ways, scrappy, the complete opposite of what Center Grove is. So I'm going to go Roncalli.
People underestimate that.
Yeah.
You serve to score points. You serve to establish your defense. You serve just to harass the heck out of people. Those are the 3 components of serving it. When you go back, that's what you look at.
That would be the definition of Roncalli.
Yeah, good teams. It is a weapon. They attack you from back there. Roncalli may be one of the only teams in the state that I've seen this year that literally attacks you from 30 feet off the net. And they take advantage of that scenario more than any team in the state. And I think it's kept them in games. But, we talk about that. They literally go back. They don't view it as an opportunity. They go back and look to bash it. They really do look to score. And that's why I think that may be the difference makers.
Yeah, and then like you talked about, they attack from all 3 lines. They attack from the back line, the back row attack. Bailey rips it as good as anybody possible in the state, and then in the front 10, they go up and they bang it out. So.
No, they're coming at you from every line. Whether it be the center line, the 10-foot line, or the end line, they're coming, and I give them a little edge.
Yep. Thursday night, this will be the Battle of Fort Wayne area. Fort Wayne Carroll. 27-3 versus Fort Wayne Concordia, which is 20-4 on the year.
Woo. I haven't had
for bragging rights.
Yeah, this is for the city. This is the top 2 programs in the city, the best 2 teams in that part of the state. 2 teams that desperately need to hit the ground running come tournament time. So this match has a little more importance than just Battle of Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
The Quaid versus Williams battle. Gosh. Well, I don't know much about either one of these teams. I've respected what they both have done all year long. I'm going to go with Concordia, just because I can't turn on my girl, so I'm going to go with Tiana. And Jackie, I apologize up front. I'm anxious to see how this turns out, but I've got to trust my gut. And Clint, make sure you got my back. I go Concordia.
This game, I went back and forth, and if there's a game that I have to pick difference, this is the game I'm going. I'm going Carroll just because you took Concordia. I got to go with the difference. So one of us will be the jinx coming into next week. Not sure. We'll find out. Most likely it's going to be me because it's what's been the last 3 or 4 times. I'm going to throw it out there. Last game, Friday, rescheduled. We got Cathedral 23-4 versus Center Grove 25-2 on the year. Who do you got?
I
think we're going to pick the same.
This is a great game. I tell you what, it's 2 teams that if they take care of the ball, it would be this game would be played well above the net. This would be as good a net play as you'd see in the state of Indiana if these two teams came out and were stellar taking care of the ball. I don't know, it's a Friday night. I don't know how it gets any better. The only way it could get better is if Center Grove hires Scott Murr to come down and call lines. Because that cat is the self-professed best linesman in the country.
He has been called that.
It's the only way this thing could get better. But I'm going to tell you, I think the Cathedral has a little bit too much ball control. The net game is really close because of the physicality of both teams. I think Cathedral has a little bit too much ball control, and I know that at this point now I've gone two parochials over Center Grove in 1 week. Probably get all the hate mail from Center Grove. I love Center Grove. This is a crazy week of volleyball for those guys. If they pull this off, I will tell you this: if they pull this off, you better watch out because these cats could be flying.
They'll be flying.
But I like Cathedral in this. Just too much Kendall White, too much O'Neal, too much Peyton. Just too many ball controllers.
Yep.
And I think that's the difference in the game.
That's what I was going to go with. Cathedral, I mean, like I said, they're as good as anybody. And the last couple of times I saw them, they've just gotten better. So that's the reason why I was going to go that route. Center Grove, though, either win or lose both matches. This is getting them ready for the state tournament when it comes down to it.
Well, you can't get any better than it. This is these are two of the best matches of the year, much less the week. And so, it's a tough week for those guys. It's a hard week because you're trying to prepare for the sectional and doing so many other things. I hate that a little bit for Center Grove moving forward. But if anything's going to get you ready for sectional, Center Grove this is. But a great week. Can't wait to hear tomorrow's announcements in regards to sectionals. Good luck to all of you as sectional draws come out, and we'll see you next week and
Make some other predictions.
blow up sectionals and see what's going on. Thank you guys very much.